Hey everybody, NeverEnuffAmmo here. Going to be doing a political video here. I know in my introduction, if you watched it, I said I wasn't sure if I was going to be doing any political videos, but there's two reasons why I've decided to go ahead and do this. One, because I have some stuff to say, and two, because judging by my 6 whole videos that I've put out since I started my channel last week, and the one that has been watched the most is my little joke of an Obama cartoon. Which tells me that either people really like cartoons or they really like political videos. So I'm going to bank on the political video thing. Let me just start here. I was raised in a area, you know, a neighborhood around people and family and friends that were Democrat. And so I was raised Democrat-minded for a long time. Then I grew up and I started to care more about things like gun rights, obviously from my channel, taxes, keeping your money, the whole gambit of the Republican slogans. And so I voted Republican. And then a few years ago I started to actually think more about the political scene in our country and what, you know, how we relate to politics and how we relate to each other and how we relate to what our country means. And I began to get that the idea of America is freedom and liberty. And so I began to become a constitutionalist or libertarian or independent, whatever you want to call it. Some people call those 3 different things. To me, they're all one thing. And basically I began to believe in the Constitution. I believed in the state's rights to govern. I believed in the Bill of Rights. I believed that the Constitution was there to basically put a leash on the federal government to keep it from getting out of control. Democrat, Republican, left, right, liberal, conservative, they're just names. They're names that people use. You know, if you're on one side, you're using it to embolden your side, to make your side feel good and strong. And if you're on the other side, you're using those names to demonize the other side. But they're just names, and people are people, and we need to stop allowing ourselves to get grouped into some big mass of political fervor. We need to be ourselves, because I guarantee you there's no 2 people in this world that have exactly identical points of view on things. My family is mostly Democrat. My family and my extended family, because I'm married, mostly Democrat, and pretty much because they always have been. Most of the people I know, I live in a part of Texas that is probably 70 or 80% Democrats, and most of the people I know have just always been Democrats because their fathers were and their grandfathers were, and so on and so forth. Just like the Republicans I know and have spoken to, because their parents were, their grandparents were, their great-grandparents were, they were always Republicans. And a lot of people now in this current climate have adjusted their thinking to really try and figure out what they are, what they want to be when it comes to their views and philosophies. But a lot of people still haven't, and a lot of people just vote for the D or vote for the R, and they don't care what their side says, they just go along with it. And I've always been the type of person, because I was raised up thinking one thing, then I grew up and started thinking another, and then a few years ago started having a different opinion on either one of those sides. I always, you know, tried to see the other side of the story and tried to see the opposing view. You know, I'm not bigoted in any way against any one side or any one group of people. I mean, you know, I want to hear your opinion. I want to see why you think the way you do. You know, I don't want to hear Democratic or Republican slogans. I want to know your opinion, and then I'll give you mine. And I want to have a civil conversation, and hopefully we can get together, have a conversation, talk about each other's views, and then step away, having learned something from each other, something that we can hopefully, you know, incorporate into our personal or political lives. My problem is with the far left and the far right. Okay, the far right, for instance, whether you're talking about people or politicians, they talk about small government and less taxes and all this good stuff that sounds really great until they get into power. And then it all changes. And that's pretty self-explanatory. And we've all seen that. The far left, on the other hand, and these are people I've actually had conversations with, they go and they march and they protest and they want their gay rights. No problem with it. That's fine. Go out and get what you want and live your life to where you're happy. And if that's what you want, go do it. That's what America's about. They want legalized marijuana. Fine. I don't care. Tobacco's already legal. Alcohol's already legal. I really don't care about marijuana. That's what you want. Go fight for it. They want women's right to choose. Fine. Go fight for it. Actually, you've already got that, but keep fighting for it. Whatever. That's fine. It's not my personal choice in my family, but I certainly don't think the federal government should get involved in your business. They want all these things. Also they want there's the green movement. I have no problem with the green movement. My wife is a green person. I mean, she buys organic and non-toxic and recycles and all this stuff. It's a personal choice, and I have no problem with it at all. Okay, I don't think the federal government should be regulating that in any way, shape, or form because it's a personal choice. It's a personal lifestyle choice. And if we left it at that and stopped trying to shove it down people's throats, probably more people would do it. But that's a whole nother video. So I have no problems with any of these things that the far left screams for at all. Go for it. Whatever. But at the same time, they want to restrict my gun rights. They want to restrict my right to go out and speak. I've never been to a tea party or any of these marches or rallies, but I have seen people on TV, in the news, and I have talked to people in person that sit there and vilify these people going out and demand that they not be allowed to speak. So you want all your rights, and you want to go out and scream for those, but at the same time, you want to restrict my rights. I have a problem with that. And I believe we need to get together on this, because I will go to a rally to march for your gay rights or to march for, legalized marijuana. If you'll come and march at a Second Amendment march, for me, or go to a tea party for me, because I believe that contrary to what we're being told by our politicians and by the Republicans and the Democrats, we have so much more in common than we want to believe. And I truly believe that people on the left and on the right truly want liberty and freedom, and they want their rights to be able to live their lives, to be able to be happy, and to take care of their families. And if we would stop fighting left versus right, we could actually make the changes needed to be able to do something. If we followed the Constitution and gave the states the rights, we would have states where gay marriage and all your rights, if you're gay, would be, you would have everything you want. You would have states where you could have legalized marijuana. You would have states where environmental consciousness was top priority. You would have states where there would be no problems with anything that you want as being someone on the left. You'd get everything you want. And at the same time, you'd have states where on the right you would have your gun, you'd be able to have your gun without worrying about where you carry it, when you carry it, how many you carry, when you buy it, how you buy it, do you have to register to buy it, and all these other restrictions on owning a gun. You'd have states that would be, better with taxes. I mean, where I live in Texas, we have no state tax, and we're not in debt. There's a way to make things work. We would have these states that would be able to play off what they wanted, and you would be able to be somewhere where you felt your rights were being honored. And then states would begin to start copying each other. This state would want more people moving to it, so it would change its laws and expand freedoms. And what we would have is we would have an environment where freedoms would be expanded upon instead of restricted by the federal government. And I think that's something we can all agree on. So when you go and you vote for the Democrat or you vote for the Republican, you're helping somebody to have their freedoms restricted. And instead, if you went and you voted for the person who believed in the Constitution and believed in the states' rights, you would be helping to expand everyone's freedoms. Your own, mine, your neighbors, somebody in the other side of the country's. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to be running out of time here real quick, so I just wanted to go over those things and just say let's have a civil conversation about this, and let's get along, and let's learn to see each other's side of the story. So anyway, I will have more gun reviews coming up soon, so that's about it. Thanks, appreciate it. Thanks for